Tour.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's a Spurs podcast on Tottenham On Tour. I am blessed with we got the crew in the house today, folks. We got Brian, we got Danny, we got Ads, and we got Ben as our special guest today. Really looking forward to the chat. Lots to talk about. I'm going to go around the horn and say hello to everybody first. Mr. Daigle, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Happy after a winner against Leicester on Sunday, and then now just wait until next week. So my excitement will be quite high until Saturday at least. So looking forward to it.
It's nice to have a win and to go through an entire week without being miserable, except the media is going to mess with us because they always do. Danny, welcome back to the channel, brother. I know you've been you've been jet setting around as you usually are, and it's good to see you back in your bedroom, and I don't mean that in any weird way.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure?
Well, the bud's getting to me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm flush here. I'm flush. No, you're looking good, buddy. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be back home. It's nice. A bit under the weather, but I'm all right now. So yeah, it's good to be back. I've got some things to say, and I'm sure we'll get onto it. But it's good to see everyone. I think it's been a while since all of us have been on actually for a long time. Right?
I think it's been quite some time. So it's nice to see it. Adam, are you managing the background right now? Because that looks great. Whoever did that?
Nope. Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
That was nice one, Danny. Nice one.
I was about to say, what the hell has just happened?
I just did a quick little edit I did a quick little edit of the Tottenham Stadium and just some cool colours. I just changed a bit of the tones of certain areas.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. It looks great. Mr. Clarke, I know you've been super busy. We weren't sure if we were going to see you for a couple more days, but you got your work done and you're with us. So how are you, brother?
Wrecked. I've got like 2 hours sleep in the last 2 nights, so happy out. Like I'm full of energy, but we got a win at the weekend, so can't complain much. And also apologies in advance to viewers if I may bring down the atmosphere and make it a bit dull, but like, hey,
not a great way to start the show, Ads. You're not going to bring down the show. You're here with
piss off, Adam.
Challenge
I want to
Danny. Only Bobsper can say that to me. Go ahead.
I want to welcome Ben Kaufman. Ben, welcome to the channel. It's a pleasure to have you. Your special guest. How are you today? How's things at work today? And obviously you're not there anymore. But how are you? What's happening?
Yeah, we had a good day today. It's been rather chill the last few weeks due to half term and people going away, like Mr. Kyriacou, lucky bastard. But yeah, we're just here chilling out, having some great vibes, making some coffee, and hopefully improving the world one coffee at a time. That's what we plan at the coffee company, and hopefully it's working. The people are enjoying my coffee, and hopefully we can spread the love. Anyway.
Yeah, hopefully we can help with that a little bit here. Yeah. We get some people to come down and check you out and check out the shop and hang out and talk Spurs with you. And looking forward to doing that with you now because lots to talk about. We got to win, boys. We got to win at the weekend. It wasn't pretty. I don't know. I want to find out everybody's thoughts on this because for me, I was thinking about it just before we started this. I didn't think we played very well. The first half in particular was pretty poor and difficult to watch. I struggled. With the starting lineup, I thought obviously Lucas Moura, and I think most people would agree, was a mistake. I don't know what he was trying to do there. Maybe he felt bad for him or something. But we saw the difference when Decky came on. But I'll start with you, Brian. Your thoughts on the performance overall? Was it not consistent, not great, but the result in the end was positive?
In the first half, my blood was boiling, my temperature was rising, and I was ready. I honestly thought I was going to be going radioactive on We Are Tottenham TV. But again. I mean that. Like I said, radioactive, not nuclear. I've got a new level lined up for the next instalments. So yeah, the first half, apart from Kane's goal, and I'm sure we discussed Kane's performance during that game, got the job done. Second half was much better. Sun came to life. Decky made a huge difference, which is amazing when you've got quality on the bench. What they can do. Whether he should have been on the bench, that's up for discussion. I'm sure we'll all discuss that as well. But yeah, we got the job done, and that's all we need to do. Shame about the fucking West Ham.
Yeah, 100%. The results didn't go our way on the weekend. We can get to that a little bit later as well. Ben, did you? What were your thoughts on the overall performance? Do you think first half to second half? Is it what you expected? Happy with it? What do you think?
There is many points to take. We still need 2 sets of fullbacks. I feel like our fullbacks are letting down the entire team. because we can't progress up the pitch quick enough with Chicken Royale at right wing back.
He's so bad, Chicken Royale.
Sessegnon's looking much better. He still needs a few more games to get into his stride, but the problem with Sessegnon is when he starts to hit his stride, he gets injured. But I'm really happy with Bentancur in midfield. He carried that midfield. As much as everyone really loves to give Højbjerg his dues because he does deserve them, Bentancur is a quality midfielder. He ran that game for us in terms of getting the ball, putting his foot in. If the team ever lost the ball, he was the first person to take someone out to show his a bit of nastiness, and he drove us forward. We can't really speak much with Moura. I thought Moura coming into the side might have been an all right idea because it gets rid of the fact that Emerson has got no speed, so it made us a bit more balanced. But he was useless, like beyond useless. He's been useless since the Leicester game, and I don't want to see him in a Tottenham shirt again. I feel really sorry to say that, but he's utterly useless now. He's been poor since the last Leicester game.
Yeah, and he wonders why he's not starting too, right? Like he seems like he's whinging about it, but then he comes on and he has a performance like that, and you're like, well, that's why you're not starting.
It's exactly why he's not starting. So Decky comes on and he shows that this is the difference between an all right player and a quality player. And hopefully we can bring some more of those quality rejects in because we bloody well need them.
More Juventus rejects, please.
Yeah, more Juventus rejects, please.
All of the bench warmers.
Paulo Dybala, please, would be nice.
and most importantly, Romero is a god.
Oh, he is incredible. We'll get to him because I want to talk to him specifically because for me, he's become my favorite Spurs player very quickly. Danny, I want to get your thoughts because we haven't heard from you in a long time, but also just generally, the first half to second half overall performance. What did you think?
Yeah, look, we have to be honest, right? It was a bad performance the whole game. It wasn't a great performance if we're honest about the whole game. We won because we had some moments of individual brilliance from some brilliant players. That's pretty much why we won the game. Kulu obviously completely changed the game. He was the game changer for us yesterday. Obviously, Romero was, for me, my man of the match. He was sensational. Yeah. He's just showing more and more that he's going to be. I don't like to brand the word world class just yet because it's still his first season in the Premier League. He hasn't had multiple seasons. He hasn't done it over a long time, but he's now been Serie A Defender of the Year. He's looking as one of the best defenders in the league. If he keeps doing this, he's going to be one of the best in the world, no doubt about it. But he's quickly rising up to those kind of levels at such a young age as well. So as long as he stays injury-free, he's going to be unbelievable for us. He was immense.
A double tackle, double tackle to send off Decky.
I think, do you know what? It's like he set the tone for the game, kind of thing, in a weird way. But yeah, it was we just wanted a win, regardless of how we won, and we got the win. That's the most important thing. What we need right now. And yeah, look, 3 points is 3 points. Son had a really good game as well. He was unbelievable. That shot was just sensational, or should we say sensational? Because it really was.
Yeah. What a shot! I mean,
it was unbelievable.
That's why I put him in the coffee shop. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, literally, even the first goal, right? That touch and turn. Oh, it was that is Sonny at his best. That is Sonny when he's at his best. When he can touch a ball like that, and he just shows how world class he is. It was. I mean, I enjoyed watching the game because I was watching it from a hot tub, so it was good for me.
Well,
it was good for me.
Danny, where was the vlog for that, mate? Come on, you're in the hot tub with the bubbles bouncing up.
Glass of wine, watching Tottenham. You couldn't get better than that.
That would have been brilliant. Mr. Clarke, what were your thoughts on the game, brother? Did you get to enjoy it, or were you too busy trying to get your work done?
I was too busy, but from what I've heard, I am not one bit surprised at all that Kulusevski once again proving to be our saviour and Romero being a god, as Ben so rightly said. Like, that was spot on. But can we really expect players like oh god, I even forget, mix up the names, Royale to play world class when he's been shit for God knows how long now? Oh no, so I'm not one bit surprised to hear that. But it is what it is because Matt Doherty is injured. Who else can play in that position? But moving off him, like Bentancur in the midfield, yeah, he's solid. Olet Højbjerg, my God. I mean, he was my favourite player last year. I mean, he's still one of my favourites. I have such a soft spot for him, but but he hasn't really been. I don't think he's been playing to the best of his ability. And Son, well, Son is just Son, world class. I mean, defined really.
Yeah,
So just something I have to bring up, like the
go ahead,
the Bentancur. I said all week last week when he was playing with a so-called knock, were our two worst games, which was Brentford and Brighton, when Bentancur had this so-called knock, and this just goes to show our lack in strength and depth. Because the whole point of Bentancur is getting the ball forward and attacking and getting it upfield so our attackers can do what they do. And the two games that he so-called had a knock and we couldn't drop him were the two worst games we've had recently. And like Ben said, Sunday he was incredible. If you watch him compared to the other two games, getting the ball and running forward with the ball or spraying it about, Bentancur is a huge part of this. I
want to add to that quickly, Brian. He was quite terrible in the first 25 minutes, like the rest of the team. I think that has to be said. He gave the ball away 3 or 4 times early on. He did come into the second half, and I think the whole team with the second half with more balance when Decky came on. But I agree. He kind of controlled the game, but he was pretty sloppy in the first 25 minutes, half an hour, and it was a hard watch. I was like, oh god, but he did create a lot more. He does transition games really good, Brian. I think that's the thing. He's ability to get the ball and move it forward quickly, accurately, which is kind of we've missed that with previous center midfielders. So he's doing a job there, and he's doing a job that he does it with panache as well. That that style he's got with the ball at his feet is quite nice to watch.
Correct. Like I said, the last 2 games he's been very poor. He wasn't moving forward very well. Jesus, I'm running out of words today. Wasn't influencing the game at all. Whereas, like you said, first 25 minutes, and then when we started picking up, he had a lot to do with it. So I think we can see just how important he is, and Ben picks it out wisely. But yeah, there's only one man. There's only the man that Bob calls Kleenex. That is.
Does he calls him Kleenex?
No, Bob, when right, we can start talking about him now. So when we went to sign Romero at the beginning, and we all remember the whole ordeal it took to finally get it over the line, Bob knew everything about him. I didn't know a lot about him, and Bob kept trying to get a sponsorship deal with Kleenex, saying every time we get close to signing him, I need to get the Kleenex on standby because. And he kept
it's wake time.
He kept saying this. He kept saying this, and I thought he was coming to be the centre of a centre back, not in a back 3, but in a back 4. And then when he started on the right of a back 3, I was like, "What's this all about?" And my God, this man is incredible. He is absolutely. He is jaw-droppingly magnificent.
I think he's probably as good as either Jan or Toby in their prime. Like he's going to be as good. Sorry, let me rephrase that. He's going to be as good as both of those players. For sure. He's like you said, he's young. He's 21, 22. I know you love Jan. I do too. Those are two of my favorite defenders who've ever played for Spurs for sure. Their partnership was amazing, but what he's doing defensively, we haven't had since then. Like he's literally giving us the solidity and the ability to play out from the back, and his intelligence is insane with the ball at his feet and just what he sees in front of him. It's not something we've seen since those 2 players. It's fantastic to watch. Go ahead, Ads.
Lads, never mind Jan and Toby. This guy is already being compared to Letty King, and he hasn't even been here a full season yet. I mean, how unbelievable!
That's a bit too soon, maybe.
But that's just it.
That's what we have to stop doing. When people said Decky is just like Gareth Bale, he is not.
No,
he will not be.
No,
he will
not even close.
Completely different. Just because a player starts playing well.
I just mean when he brings for the team is what I'm talking about.
I get what you're saying, but it's when fans do it. It's like if we sign a new striker, he's the next Harry Kane. Or if we sign a creative midfielder that can take on a few players, we've got the next Paul Gascoigne. No, we have not.
No,
they played for one season, and Decky half a season.
Decky's been here since like end of January. I mean, come on.
He's played 14 games in the league. He's the next Gareth Bale. Of course he is. Of course, because he's blessed with pace and running past people. Of course he is.
This is an interesting thought, guys. I'll ask you, Ben, quickly about this. What you think? What was this a masterstroke or was it a mistake from Conte when just not starting him? You could argue that this did work. I mean, he came on and he ripped him up.
It's a bit of both. As I said before, I think it's because he wanted to build a bit of balance. With Emerson being so slow, he needed a bit of speed on that right-hand flank to push Leicester's fullbacks because they're not brilliant defensively. They're a very good
just to
transition.
push them to the touchline. That's what Moura does. Just run into them.
But
sorry,
it does that as well. It kicks him up the backside. If you're not playing well, Mr. Kulusevski, there's going to be a player that's going to come in front of you, and that's what football is. It's, as Sean Butler likes to say a lot, it's a meritocracy. If you're not playing well, you're going to get dropped. So that's a really good thing. But Kulusevski's magical. Some of the things he was doing, he is just awesome footballer. He's I don't like to compare him to Gareth Bale at all because he's much more like a Teddy Sheringham. He's got a football brain. He can pass the ball forward. He's brilliant with his little tricks. He's quick in the brain, not quick in the feet, but he's fast. When you get going, he is fast. But this guy is magical. And as long as we keep him grounded, he's going to be one of the best footballers on the planet. And Juventus should never have let him go because he seems to be an absolute beast of a midfielder. Maybe he doesn't suit the Italian league, but he looks an awesome footballer already. Imagine it in a couple of years under a pre-season as well. It's going to be jaw-dropping.
Yeah, he's like born to play for Spurs. It feels like just just the style, everything about him. A wonderful player. Danny, thoughts on that comment about the substitution? Whether the fact that he didn't start, Decky didn't start. What do you think? You're muted, buddy. You're muted.
Yeah, I was about to say, Danny, that's very quiet there.
No, I was going to say, yeah,
Miming.
sorry. I think everyone was calling for it. Everyone wanted to see Decky kind of drop because he had a couple of bad games leading up to this game, and you've got to try and the way to motivate players, I think, is to show them that they're not undroppable. Yeah, exactly. So I think it kind of gives him that sort of boost again to kind of have, do you know what? I'm better than this. I can play better than this. And also it gives a chance to the squad members who were given a chance. And obviously I even said it before the game. I said, Lucas Moura, I didn't want him to start. I think he's finished at Tottenham, if I'm honest.
Why isn't Bergwijn starting there? Can Bergwijn?
I don't know.
He can play on the right.
Do you know what it is?
I don't get it.
I'll tell you what. I read something. So I'm going to come to this later on, right? But I read something about what Conte's quotes were, and he classes Bergwijn as a striker.
I know,
right?
It's weird.
So for me, that tells us why he's not playing him on the wing, and it tells us that means that he's going to go, and it's going to lead on to something I'll get onto later on, because I saw some reports which haven't actually. I don't know if people have seen the reports from in the Netherlands. He was interviewed by Nos, which is like, have you seen the actual Nos interview?
I saw that. I saw some quotes from it. I didn't see the whole interview. So
I'll read it out to you because I got the translation later on. But essentially, it looks like he wants to leave. And he wants to go back to the Netherlands. Nos is basically like the BBC in the UK. It's like the equivalent of the BBC.
It's a good source, right? They're not.
It's the biggest in the Netherlands. So yeah, he was interviewed by them, and I'll read it out later. But yeah, it's a shame because I wanted him to start. To be honest with you. It was quite frustrating.
Start over Moura. I mean, why can't he play on the right side? I don't get it.
He plays on the right for the Netherlands as well, which is so weird, right? Yeah. And he doesn't even play a lot of game time, and he still gets trusted because they know that they can trust him for the Netherlands. But look, it's a shame, it really is. But if I'm honest, Moura had his chance, and I think the second half this season, something's not right with Moura. Whether it's he doesn't get along with Conte or whether he doesn't fit in Conte's system, but he just doesn't get along with him. And he was so terrible again. He was probably the worst player on the pitch yesterday. It's what I expected from him. To be honest with you, I know some people are going to hate what I'm going to say, but I don't really want to see him in the Spurs shirt again. I think we've had our time with Moura, and I know Brian's going to be fuming at this, right? But
I think Ben just said that like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? Ben is right? And the thing is with Moura, he's just.
It's time to move him on. It's just time to move him on.
Yeah.
We need to stop.
30
being
years
this
old
club.
too.
We need to stop being this club that likes to have mediocre players, right? Who turn up for like a couple of games a season, or they have a good spell during a season, and that's it. We have had enough of this. I mean, Decky, right, has proven how good of a player he is. In a short amount of time, he's up there with the top assisters in the league, right? And
two of them at the weekend. I mean,
exactly, and that's someone, right, who's 21 years old. So if you can get quality like that, yeah, you're going to improve on what Moura can give you, right? And I think he doesn't give us enough. He hasn't really been impacting from the bench this season at all. I haven't seen one game where I remember him impacting from the bench. If anything, every time he's come on this season, he makes us worse completely. And I get fucking pissed off with it. All right. And I want him gone, to be honest with you. And I think both of them, if they sell both of them, they're going to have to bring in at least one right winger because they're going to need another one. So we have to wait and see. I could see them bringing a youngster in and an established winger as well, or someone who can play across that front three, who's a bit of a versatile player.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good for Kulu that he had that rest and he came on and he showed how good he was. And yeah, it's a shame that we have to rely on him as a 21-year-old because of our lack of depth in our squad. But look, he did his job. He did his job on the weekend, and it was brilliant to see how good he is. And like you just said, Brian, you were saying how it's like he was born to play for Spurs.
Yeah.
His embodiment, right, is literally like what you want from a Spurs player. You never give in attitude, never die. Always giving 100% for the badge, always giving everything
and quality in that, though.
Yeah, and quality because, like Ben said, right, it's what he has over most players in the Premier League, and I'm saying this in the Premier League. It's the football intelligence. He's got more intelligence than most players, right?
Yeah.
But because he's 21, he hasn't shown how good he can be. And if he keeps progressing at this rate, he's going to be one of the best in the world. I'm telling you this for a fact.
Brian, I wonder how you're feeling about this because we just slagged your boy Moura there, and we're obviously praising Decky. You must be struggling a little bit with this one because Decky, it's hard to argue how fucking brilliant he is and he's been, and Moura, it's hard to argue how crap he's been. So what's your thoughts?
No, you know what? Listen, I've said it before with Højbjerg as well, who people know I love even more than Moura. That if an upgrade comes, goodbye, see you later. I don't want you. We're getting a better player. That's sentimentality around players now is done.
Yeah, it's got to be right.
Do I think Lucas Moura should never wear a Spurs shirt again? That's a bit. It's
a bit dramatic.
That's a bit. Whoa. Do I agree? Bergwijn should have played. People have heard me big up Bergwijn for ages, along with Bobby and with Danny and with Ben from We Are Tottenham TV. I've always been on his side, always saying I think there's a player there. So it was a surprise for me. Do I think Kulu was dropped? Do I think it was a masterstroke? Yes, I do. Because not only that, I think it showed what I've been saying before as well. He's got to do something with game management because we need players fit and ready for battle. And Kulu has come, or Decky, shall I say, has come in and just played non-stop. 21-year-old, new to the Premier League. It's like, right, take half out or however long, I'll bring you on if I need you. And then you're going to be fit, raring to go for Liverpool and Arsenal, the filth, which
Scott's still in denial about how good Decky is. I don't understand him, but he's
yeah. So, but that's the thing. It was a masterstroke, but when it comes to Lucas Moura, listen, I think he's gone in the summer. I think there is a huge clear out if a certain person allows Antonio Conte to sell them at certain prices. All these players could be ready in shipshape, ready to get out the door. If Conte doesn't have control of what the price is, then we could be in for a bit of trouble because someone might be wanting extra money for people. But yeah, Moura, unfortunately, as much as I love him, and as I said, there are people there now that are upgradable. And if it means my two of my favourite players, which are Moura, who I thought was going to be player of the season under Nuno and started off well, and Pierre, as much as I love Pierre, if we can get players in that are better than him, off you go. I'll come home and pack your bags for you. That's simple. We need the time for sentimentality about what they've achieved or what they've done or the moments. I don't want to know about the moments. I want to know about the glory and the lifting of the cups. And these players aren't getting us there. So out the door, out you go. So yeah, but I do think saying never wear a shirt again is a bit whoa.
Do you know why? Do you know why I said? Do you know why, Brian? I said that, right? I said it because look, we haven't won any trophies since 2008, right? And we've still got a lot of these players in this squad in the Poch era that haven't won anything, and they've gone through like the high highs and the low lows, right? And for me, I just think we need to get rid of this sentimentality because the problem is, right, he hasn't won anything for us. He's another player who always says, and I know, look, don't get it wrong, he's given us some great memories, right? Well, no one's ever gonna forget.
That's what
the
they
Amsterdam
are, though.
night,
That's
right? But the problem is those memories, right? didn't give us a cup. It didn't give us anything. So
Yeah,
50 years from now, we're gonna look back and be like, what did Moura? Oh yeah, that was right. Yeah, he scored a hat trick in the game that we didn't win when we get to the final. That's right. And this is the thing, right? I want to see Tottenham fucking win things now. I'm fed up. I want to see. I want to see before I get to 60 years old, right? I want to see us win a couple of fucking trophies. And the only way we're going to do this if we get rid of the sentimentality of the players that we just are just not good enough, because he doesn't give us like a whole season of quality football, right? He will give us like 5 games throughout a season, 5 or 6 games where he scored some unbelievable goals. But if you look at his stats over, Decky has got more goals and assists, more assists than him, right? In half a season than Moura's got in the last.
It's not even
2
half a season.
seasons.
It's like
but
2 months.
That's what I mean. But
Three or 4 months.
It goes to show like how good a player can be if you get the right player in.
Yeah.
And that's
Danny,
why
I'm with you with that, but do you not see Lucas Moura maybe coming on as a sub against the Phils?
No, I
You know,
don't.
the capable of scoring.
Brian, honestly,
I'd rather see
don't,
Bergwijn come on.
Yeah, honestly, I
So
don't.
would I.
Brian.
No,
I-
listen,
do
so
you know-
would I, but we don't have the strength in depth to say, oh, do you know what? Lucas and
but Brian,
go out
I
and we
get
bring on
that.
Dave Scarlett or whatever. We can't do that.
But I get that. But we're not talking about right now, right? Because even right now, Lucas Moura coming on the sub. When I've seen him come on as he was one of our best players at the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah.
Let's have it right. Under Nuno, he was one of our best performers, right? As soon as Nuno came out and he stopped performing, just before Nuno came out, and he started slowly kind of easing off a bit, right? He when he was coming on as a sub, he was awful. Every single fucking time he came on, right? He changed the way we played, and we became less aggressive, less on the front foot. And the worst
Gives the ball away more often than any other
giving
player.
the ball away more often. Yeah, and look, I just don't want. To be honest with you, I've had enough of Moura. Like I've had enough of people giving. I know Brian absolutely loves Moura, and he's a Moura sexuals, like he likes to call it. But I'm sorry, but I've had enough. I just want him gone. I would love to keep Bergwijn. I think he's got a higher ceiling than Moura. Also, Moura, you can cash in and get some sort of money for him right now, because there are clubs that would buy Moura, like from abroad, whether that's the Premier League or not, or whatever it is. But I know Bergwijn will want to leave, so I would be upset if we sold Bergwijn and we still had Moura come the end of the transfer window.
Yeah, I would be.
So would I.
I would be
Moura
really
that needs to go. There's half the team needs to be.
I agree, Ben.
We haven't even got to fucking Harry Winks yet. Harry Winks not only should never wear a Tottenham shirt again professionally, if he's, as a Tottenham fan, wears a shirt again, it should be taken off of him, because that's how bad.
Christ.
That's a bit harsh, Ben. That's a bit harsh.
Come on, Ben.
5 minutes.
I agree, Ben.
He was on for 5 minutes,
And he calls a
couldn't
fucking
even
goal.
track a run.
I know.
Yes, did he?
Exactly.
No
Oh my
desire,
God.
no passion. He's saying, "Oh, I'm born and bred Tottenham. I'm a Tottenham supporter through and through." And track the fucking run. Stop that clean sheet. It's
Yeah.
Right.
on
Ben, do
five
you know
minutes.
what's funny, Ben,
It's a
about that?
disgrace.
Because you're right. Because even when I was watching it with Sana, right, and when we were watching it, even she's like, "What's he doing? Like, why is he not running?" And she can clearly see this guy, right, is just standing there, just like, and then he makes the most shittest attempt of a tackle, and the guy completely just
Even attempt.
sidesteps him. It wasn't even an attempt. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't even an attempt, and he fucking conceded a goal because of his lack of any footballing brain to fucking or desire to fucking want to win
And
a
of
ball
course,
back.
people are blaming Dyer. Dyer actually.
No.
I was just gonna say, guys, let's not spend
Exactly.
let's
not
spend too much energy on slagging Winks, because we've been doing that for a long time, and he deserves it. Don't get me wrong.
They're asking for Dyer to sprint 30 yards out of a back line when Winks.
Yeah, that's not his
Right.
job. And let's talk about Dyer a little bit, because Dyer, I thought Dyer was brilliant. I thought Dyer had a great game. I think he's played well this season. I think that left side with Davies as well is reasonably good.
Pick up, David.
Other than that moment in the 94th minute or whatever it was when they scored, defense was looking pretty solid defensively. Thoughts on that, Ads? You want to start with that? You're quiet over there, buddy. Unless you want to sleep.
No,
Yeah, I
it's
thought
fine.
you would
I can do
sleep.
both. I can do this in my sleep, you know. No, Dyer was brilliant. Like, I mean, if the question was even about Dyer, I think Dyer's been brilliant all season. That's what I want to say. Like, overall, this has been his best season, I think, since. Oh, I'm gonna have to be careful what I say here. Since some time on the pitch, anyway. I mean,
2016, 2017, probably.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sure. A lot of these players that are still here from the pitch here peaked on the pitch anyway. So that's no surprise. But other than that, like, you have to give him his dues. Like, it's like he has been pretty good this season. Now, from what I heard, obviously he didn't watch the game, as I said earlier, but to blame Dyer for a Winks goal, even just the sound of it, it does sound like, you're like, come on, that's a bit ridiculous, folks. But I mean, you never know. I didn't see it anyway, but like, no, keep him and Romero in that back line until unless, of course, we can get an upgrade for Dyer to partner with Romero. That's what I've been saying for months, is what I'm going to say until the end of the season.
Yeah, it's a fair shout. I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think Dyer was absolutely brilliant. I think he's solid in his communication skills and have been really useful to the team from the back. And we needed that. We needed somebody who can talk to everybody and organize. As soon as you take Dyer out of the team, we look utter mess. So he's very useful in that sense. But Ben, I'll ask you thoughts on the defensive performance. You can go across the board. I mean, obviously we know Romero, how good he was. Dyer, Ben Davies, Sessegnon. I thought Sessegnon played a pretty good game, inconsistent a little bit as he's been all season, but good to see him back out again.
I thought they were quite shaky until Romero did his double tackle.
Yeah, it helped, didn't it?
Romero did that. It brought the team up, and that shows real leadership. We talk about Dyer with leadership and he's got all this ability in communication and organisation. Leadership is seeing a tackle 10, 15 yards away. It's not saying, right, I'm winning that ball. And he smashes one player, gets up and smashes another player. That's leadership.
And creates a chance.
And it creates a chance and it's scored. I celebrated those double tackles like it was a goal. And then a goal actually happened. That is leadership. And then after that, you saw Davis started to come out of his shell. If he's doing that, I'm going to do that. And then the defense looked like, all right, we're going to impose on them. We're going to be physical. We're going to be aggressive. And that's leading from the front. So
it's a good point from David there. I would agree with that for sure. Again, I'm not suggesting we don't need better players in these positions. I'm just suggesting that
all right
they're doing their job reasonably well, considering what we were before.
It's true. Like, towards the goal, Dyer was obviously partly to blame because he could have commanded or come out more. But again, he turned his back, as he always seems to fucking do, because he's just scared of the ball for whatever reason, which is fucking mind-boggling. Because as a defender, you should be taking that ball to the nuts to stop a goal coming in. That's what you're paid to do, right? You're paid high amounts of money to not concede goals in any way possible. And he doesn't throw his body on the line, which is annoying. And he should have come out more. But the main culprit for that goal was Winks, because he was the one who was tracking him. And he was the one who was just literally walking alongside Inacio and didn't do fuck all. And then literally made the most dumbest attempt of a tackle, which wasn't even, you couldn't even class the tackle. And then exactly. He should have fucking take him out. Yeah, fucking be aggressive. He's a lightweight. He's a championship player at best, and I cannot wait to see him never play for Spurs again. I cannot wait. And it's like Conte said. Yeah, he's like, that quote that he said like last week, where he said he looks at his staff and he looks at the bench and he looks at the pitch and he can't what the fuck can he do, because he's got fucking Winks sitting on the bench. I mean, it goes to show you how shit he is. I just pray, and I think Brian will love this one, I pray they get rid of Winks and they bring in James Ward-Prowse, because we need an English player. And
there's some rumors
that would be
on
a good
that.
replacement.
There's some rumors on that right now.
If we were to bring in James Ward-Prowse,
Parasite's listening to me.
If we were to bring in him, he would add so much to our team. Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter every game, but he's going to give us something that we don't have, and a different element to be able to play maybe three in the midfield with a player who's a quality dead ball, one of the best in the world as a dead ball specialist.
He's currently the best in the world, 100%.
And also he scores long range shots. He's a brilliant passer of the ball. He's an intelligent player, and he's English. So
I also think, Danny, if you saw him playing with a better squad, I mean, he's playing with Southampton. You know, they're not a great team. You put them in a team with better players. Of course, I recognize that some of our players need upgrades as well. But you know, in the summer, you bring him in and you bring 3 or 4 other players in that upgrade the squad across the board. That makes Ward-Prowse even better. Maybe even he does start some games or more games or a lot of the games because of it.
Yeah, and do you know what, Brian? To add to your point, right? I think having a manager like Conte will only elevate his level. Like if he can do what he's done to some of these players, these average players that we've got in our squad, to even having us to even be considered in the top 4 race, right? Which none of us, let's be honest, none of us thought would happen at the beginning of the season, right? And he's done what he's done with some of these players. Imagine what he could do with someone like James Ward-Prowse at his level right now. If he could get him into the training regime that Conte has, right? Have a full preseason with someone like Conte. Oh, I can only imagine the levels that he's going to improve. It's like it kind of. I'm not saying he's the same level as or a less of a player as Henderson, but look what happened to Henderson when he went to Liverpool. When he was at Southampton, he was a good player, right? But he was raw. He was young. It was only when Klopp got a hold of him he became a far better player, and he was crucial to their Champions League win and their Premier League win when they won both those titles, right? So could you imagine what someone like Conte could do? That's what really could excite me, to be honest. It's what Conte could do with someone like James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah,
I would love to have him in the squad, man. He'd be fucking brilliant.
Brian, you want to add to that? Because I know you're.
I've been saying James Ward-Prowse since God knows when. But the first thing about Dyer as well, what David said about Dyer being reactive and Romero being proactive, it's right to an extent. It's completely right. But the other thing you've got to remember is if everyone was as proactive as Romero and just went running out like a lunatic on occasions, if one of them make a slip up, you're right through in on goal.
You need someone to stay home, right?
Exactly. It doesn't. I know exactly what he means, and it is right. But you can't have three players as proactive or as strong as Romero just charging forward like a ball in a china shop, because you're going to leave yourself way open. Yes, we need to upgrade on Dyer. Yes, we most definitely do. And I'm trying to stay away from him, if he does have the big summer, you have to bring in a couple of defenders on his kind of wavelength, because then your defense is a thing people would be absolutely terrified about coming up against. It could be like when we had Jan and Toby again, when everyone was like, right, we're not conceding. It was like, done, and we were the best defense 2 years in a row. You need to make sure you get people on his wavelength and that understand him. He is the focal point. Even though he plays on the right of a three, no matter who we bring in, he is always going to be the number one. He is just absolute mustard. When it comes to James Ward-Prowse, like I said, you look at Liverpool when it comes to their forward line. They have they have 5 forwards. You don't hear any of them moaning. 6 if you want to include Origi.
Yeah.
You don't hear them moaning. You don't hear them moaning at all. It elevates them to better levels. They do squad rotation. They keep each other fit and fresh so they can all go for the quadruple. And I think I did it at the end of the first leg where I said, yeah, they're on for the quadruple, or a couple of weeks ago. I still think they are. I still think they're doing the quadruple. But they keep refreshing that team because they have so much quality. It doesn't. You look at it. You've got people like James Milner, who's 36 or 37 now, still comes on and does a job for them. He did
today in the Champions League as well.
Exactly. He did it against Newcastle. It was his tackle that led to the build-up to their goal. It doesn't matter about the age. These players need to be brought in. And James Ward-Prowse, imagine James Ward-Prowse, Højbjerg, if he's still there, up for debate, Bentancur and Skip vying for 2 or 3 positions. They are going to be competing like hell. There's going to be keeping themselves sharp, fresh. There's going to be so much competition for places. And like Danny said, James Ward-Prowse under Conte scares the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Because we see what he can do. And James Ward-Prowse will also help with our with our English. We need the homegrown. It certainly helps that. We need to start looking at that very seriously. And James Ward-Prowse is just the man. But like I said,
having somebody who could take free kicks again in the side would be nice. I mean, that in itself is the value of that. How many has he got? How many has he got this season? 10 plus or 11 or something like that? I mean, those are winning. Those are winning goals in a lot of games. You win one.
So last week I was on Sean's show. I was on Spurs Talk Show, and he was like, "Listen, we went around, did a round table. It's like, right, you got 150 million or whatever to spend. How are you spending it?" And it came to me, and I said, "Right, my whole thing revolves around getting around James Ward-Prowse. Spend what you need to do to get him." And then out of that,
what do you think the value of what he is right now? Has anybody looked at that?
Well, apparently it's 60. But if it comes to Tottenham, I can guarantee you we are going to be the one club that's more, because Southampton absolutely hate us because of Glenn Hoddle, because of Dean Richards, because of Pochettino, because of Højbjerg, because of Toby. There is a definite hatred where literally they'll be like, no, this price for one, this price for Tottenham. And literally, as soon as the window opens, I'll be putting in a bid. I'll be going, right, what do you want? There you go, done. Let's do it. Bang, buy. And apparently, which I've heard all the time, we're not messing around this summer. We're going to be going for it. We're going to be going hammer and tongs. And this is going to be a big window. So I expect to see James Ward-Prowse sign for Tottenham, or hopefully sign for Tottenham, whilst I'm still in England.
Oh, man.
Market value right now is £28 million. That's a fucking
There's
deal.
no way James Ward-Prowse is 28 million.
That's on transfermarket.co.uk right now.
It'd be
28.
about 40 million to get him, I reckon.
It's going to be at
30,
least 40.
30 to 40
I'm just
million,
telling
yeah.
you what's on the webpage, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
I'm telling you that is very, very wrong.
I got fucking
Fucking wrong, Brian. Fucking wrong.
No, you know what? That's not
Cancel.
his opening bid. You want 50? Okay, here's 28. That's where we begin.
Yeah, I think around
Anything below
40,
30.
45 is probably more accurate. Like that, what he'll end up selling for if he sells. What's the likelihood of him leaving? I think is the question. And there are other players that we could get that for a similar price or a better price that would do the job as well. I guess that's the question too. So West Ham go on and lose to the scum up the road, and we don't gain any ground on Arsenal. How are we feeling about the top four race at the moment? I'll start with you, Ben.
We have to focus on us. We cannot focus on what the Arsenal do. There's only one team that matters in this race, and that's Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. The more we look at other people, we're not looking at our own shortcomings. And it's incredibly, incredibly arrogant to be laughing at everyone else. I know we've all done it. I love doing it myself because I'm a fickle man. But we need to focus on us. We need to think Liverpool. We've got to go to Liverpool. Let's not focus on Arsenal. Let's not focus on West Ham. Let's not focus on Newcastle or Tranmere Rovers up the road. We need to focus on Tottenham Hotspur. It's the only team that matters. We go to Liverpool. Let's see if we can get a result. We probably won't get a result, but let's try and put a performance in, work hard in training for the lads. And hopefully, we need to stop looking at everyone else. We need to be in a bubble and only focus on Tottenham, because I think that's part of our problem, is we're too busy looking at other teams to fail instead of making us succeed.
Now, a quick question for you, quick on that, Ben. Do you think do you think Conte's looking at other teams, or do you think the team is focused on the games that we have coming up, or do you see the players kind of maybe checking what happened in the game afterwards? Do you think they're not focused? Is that just us as a fan base?
I think it's partly both. If the Tottenham players are looking at everyone else, they need to focus on our own games, because we're not performing as a team enough as it is. So focus on ourselves. Of course, we want to laugh at Arsenal, because that's basically why we're born and bred Tottenham fans, isn't it? We want to laugh at Arsenal, we want to laugh at Chelsea, but we need to focus on the team, because the team is not quite good enough, and we need to spur the boys on as much as possible. But we need to focus. We need to be level-headed, and we have to realise we're only in this position because of the manager in charge, not because of our team. The team is borderline.
We're very lucky. Let's be honest. Yeah.
Incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
So we need to focus on Tottenham Hotspur. If Arsenal drop points. That's on their shoulders. But let's say we actually do the unthinkable if we go to Liverpool and beat them. It's utterly unthinkable. 6 wins in 108 years. We will not beat them. I mean, if they somehow manage to beat Liverpool, I can see Tottenham losing to Burnley, because that's how stupid our players are.
Absolute fact.
Somehow beat Liverpool, and then we'll lose to Burnley or to Norwich. So we need to focus game on game, and we need to focus on the game at hand other than focus on everyone else, because I think that's part of the problem, is we're ahead of ourselves instead of focusing on the job at hand.
Yeah, for sure. So those results against Brentford and Brighton sort of highlight that. Danny, your thoughts on the top four these days? Haven't had a chance to chat with you recently. I think the last time we spoke, it was we're going to get top four. Or it felt like the momentum was there, but that was a couple of weeks ago, and how things have changed. They do so quick. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on it right now?
Yeah, I think right now, the momentum's completely swung in the opposite direction. It's gone like complete 180. It's like we've completely swapped the momentum with Arsenal. It's like we've taken it in the ego, Arsenal, you have our momentum, we'll have your momentum. And that's kind of what's kind of happened. And we've kind of essentially we fucked it up as usual. We've bottled it, right? Because we had the biggest chance against Brighton, who don't ever normally beat us at home, and we go and lose to them 1-0 in the most diabolical performance. And then we go and draw to Brentford. Now, I know Brentford's a tough game, but still we should be beating these teams, especially if we want to get top four. And we didn't beat them. And I think those two games, I mean, we could talk about multiple games across the season, but look, every team's had their games where they should have won or they haven't won or whatever it is. But if we're looking at ourselves, we only have ourselves to blame once again. And it's looking more and more unlikely now, because we've now got to either go and beat the best team in the world right now, which is Liverpool on the weekend, which we obviously have the worst record against Liverpool away.
Oh man, I know it's
any
so
other
bad.
Premier League team.
Of
Literally,
course.
it's terrible, right? So we've now got to go and do the unthinkable in a time where they're literally on fire right now, and we're not really playing very good football. Now it would be Spursy, like Ben said, to go and beat Liverpool and then go and lose to Burnley. That is literally, or go and lose to Norwich on the last day, or some dumb shit like that, right?
Oh fuck's sake!
So that's what I genuinely can see happening. Like, I don't think top 4, I think, is going to be extremely difficult now. I don't think it's going to be in our hands anymore, because if we're lucky, we might get a point at Anfield. If we're lucky, if I'm honest, right, we might get a point, but we have to look at it and think realistically. Even though our hearts are saying, yeah, we could do them. I know we've got to be positive, right? But we have to look at the realism of who we're coming up against, and we're coming up against a team that's fighting for the quadruple, right, which has never been done before. So you're literally going to have to go and beat the best to go and have a chance of getting in the top 4 next season, unless we win all the rest of our games, barring the Liverpool game, and Arsenal drop points along the way to us, and obviously they have to lose a game.
That London derby,
right?
I mean, that North London derby is going to decide it. I think I didn't think it would, but I think it will.
Do you know what, Brian?
What did I tell you?
Because I don't think it will. Honestly, I don't think it will, because even if we were to draw, right, and Arsenal go and win against, is it Leeds they're playing on the weekend?
Leeds,
right?
yeah.
So they're 2 points ahead of us, right now.
Yep.
So they'll be 4 points ahead of us. So even if they if that was the case, right?
You think they win every game though, other than the North London derby?
This is the thing, though, Brian.
I don't think so.
It's hard to say, right? Because look, people are saying that where they're going to drop points. If Arsenal are going to drop points, it's going to be maybe Newcastle, right? Yeah, no, I agree, David. Look, it can be done, but I'm just saying that it's a different mentality playing the best team in the world right now. Like Man City, people need to remember that people actually need to remember that against Man City, we are actually the best team. We've got the best away record to any team in the Premier League against Man City. We have the best
some
away
weird
record.
reason.
So
our style suits playing them, and that's
but
why.
It's not just that, Brian. It's historically as well. We have the best record. Yeah,
Okay.
we have the best record against Man City.
Relegated them
right?
twice.
We have.
Them twice.
Yeah,
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that.
How do they not hate us more than they do?
What I'm saying is that there's a history of a mentality thing with the two clubs, right?
Right.
And this is what it's like we have this mental block with Chelsea and Liverpool. And sometimes Man United a lot, right? They're the teams that we have. Yeah. Bolton was a team we always used to fucking do bad against. But the thing is, right, how I look at it is that yes, it can be done, but the likely scenario is that we're not going to beat them. We probably could maybe take a point from them. But then if we do that, we have to go and beat Arsenal, which I think we can do. But then they have to drop points. Now, they have to, and obviously we'll have to rely on goal difference, which it will be the first time a top 4 race has ever gone down to goal difference.
Well, we have a much better goal difference currently. So
yeah, of course. So
that's
it's going to be massive for us. But you have to look at it as well. Like people think Newcastle's. I know Newcastle have only dropped. They've only lost 1 game at home since Eddie Howe's taken over, and that was Liverpool, which shows you how good they are.
They've been very good.
And they're not going to want to lose, right? So they could obviously drop points there. And I'm not
Leeds fighting for their lives as well. So
yeah, they are.
Not going to be an easy game.
And so at Everton, because Everton have just gone and beat Chelsea, and they beat Man United, and not many people thought they were going to go
just as much chance as them because of that.
Well, this is the thing. So I think where it's going to come down to, I think it's going to be the last game of the season. I honestly do.
Could be.
And I think Everton are going to be.
God, it's going to be torture.
Because if Everton need a win, right, to stay in the Premier League, could you imagine the pressure those players are going to be feeling and how much they're going to want to win to stay in the Premier League? They're going to fight like fucking.
Arsenal have to win to get top 4 at the same time.
I tell you one thing, right? And I believe this.
Epic.
I believe Everton will fight harder to stay in the league than Arsenal to get top 4.
I agree. 100%. It'll matter more for sure. I mean, it'd be hard
100%.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that it will come down to. So look, it's still possible, right? But it's more unlikely at this moment because it's not currently in our. Well, it is still currently in our hands, so we have to wait until Liverpool.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah. Once the Liverpool game is done, we'll have an idea.
We'll have another chat about it next week, and we'll know what's going on.
I think so.
Possibly another rant.
Yeah, I want to get Brian's opinion on it. He's been sitting there quietly for a while there, but where are your thoughts on the top four? Because I know we've had the back and forth. The last time we spoke about it, you were still staying with that we're going to get there, but it's getting harder and harder. So where are you now?
So I'm going to speak the negative side first, and I'm going to go on the positive side. The negative side is the only way this North London derby is the decider is if Arsenal win it, because we don't know what we're going to get against Liverpool. Let's just say we get 0. If they get 3 points against Leeds, then they're 5 points clear. If they win that game, 8, it's done. It's done. And if it does happen that way, that stadium best go absolutely nuclear, like I would, directed at one man, because after 6 years or 5 years of beating them on the last season of the Lane to say we finished above them, how ironic would it be that the season they repeat it is the season they get top 4 and knock us out the Champions League in this wonderful stadium where everything is going to happen and everything is positive and everything is tremendous. No, that's the only way I see that game being the decider. Because if we beat Liverpool and they beat Leeds, it's still 2 points, and then after this, it's either going to be 5 points or we'll be ahead by 1 point with 2 games to go. So, in all honesty, the only way that game I see as being a decider is that it will be over is Liverpool's way. But now flipping the coin, I like looking at things and seeing how teams have done before against teams. And Leeds, when they had Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, stopped Arsenal winning the title twice. At Arsenal, when they were about to go bankrupt, Mark Viduka scored a winner to stop them winning the league. So Leeds have had a knack of getting in Arsenal's way when it comes to big events. So I'm praying that happens again, because I don't think there's a team. Arsenal are probably looking at this going, well, they're away at Anfield and we're at home to Leeds.
I know, but that's the kind of funny thing, right? Because sometimes the opposite of what you think is going to happen happens, right?
Like what's happened just now when they've won the 3 games when we fucked up.
They beat Chelsea. Like nobody predicted they were going to beat Chelsea.
What we've got to do is like Brentford, like Brentford did against Chelsea, and like other teams have done against Chelsea and other teams have done against Liverpool. You have to stifle them and do the opposite of what they think you're going to do. Because if you go in and just do what Liverpool think you're going to do, you're going to get absolutely tonked. You're going to get absolutely walloped.
Yeah, just on the Liverpool situation, we're one of the only teams who gave them a very difficult game the last time. It was at it was at home. I get that, but it's still the same 2 teams playing each other. I get it. It's the 12th man. I understand that it's Anfield. I understand the record there is terrible, but we do have the type of team to get at them. They play a very high line, and we play very good on the counterattack. So I think that still stands, whether or not that record in Anfield is as poor as it is. There's a chance there that we might not have had we been a possession team still, where we're trying to keep the ball, we're trying to beat them. But there's an opportunity there to exploit, I think.
The most important thing there is not to go and take a Tonkin.
I agree for sure. We don't want to get smoked.
If you're going to lose 1-0, 2-1, whatever, just don't lose 3s and 4s like we have done there quite regularly, because then that really fucks the goal.
It smashes the confidence too, doesn't it?
Really, and that's the other thing why playing on the counter could come back and screw us. We have just got to go out there, do what we got to do. Listen, if someone said to me now, would you take a draw? Yes, I would. Yes, 100%. Arsenal could get a win against Leeds.
100%.
But it's like literally with us, and then this North London derby, I don't even know. I mean, obviously, we're going to be at the Scotland Yard, and it's going to be absolutely it's going to be scenes. It is going to be scenes. There's people taking days off work, taking kids out of school. They're like, it's going to be absolutely rocking in that place. And obviously, Danny is going to be very lucky or very unlucky to be in there. Let's hope it's very, very lucky. I'm just dreading the fact that history. They won the league at White Hart Lane, which they always fucking sing about. Then we had obviously if they get to guarantee.
You're working yourself up too much here, Brian.
Mate, no, do you know what it is? Because this is the thing. Because when me and Danny come on and talk like this, we talk real. We don't talk. Oh, it's skittles and rainbows, and we're going to win every game.
Nobody said anything about fucking rainbows. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying that everyone. You've got
save that for the leprechauns, lads.
Do you know what it is we do as a fan base? We always look at the positive. We always look at, that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
I don't know. I'm going to live my life that way, so I don't get tortured. I don't want to.
No, but this is the thing. What you've got. This is the thing. Like Danny and I always say, you look at it that way, and Danny and I want it to happen just as much as everyone else. we want it to happen. But when it doesn't happen, and me and Daddy go fucking mental. Like,
I know, but
oh,
I don't go mental. So I'm not the one
talking
suffering.
about you, Brian. This isn't about you right now.
Just
I'm
talking
talking
about it
about the fan
generally.
base. I'm talking as a fan base.
I know, but
You
I'm a positive. The reason I'm taking it personally, or not taking it personally, but speaking from that, I am generally positive. You would accept that. Most of the time, I'm going to pick a Spurs win. I'm going to be one of those positive people who's going to start in that place because I enjoy football for that reason. I don't want to be. I'm going to be realistic at the same time. I recognize it's Liverpool. My positivity against Liverpool, playing Liverpool, is that I think we're going to get a draw. I recognize that is probably not likely, but I'd rather have that belief and that sort of positivity going into the game than expecting to lose or being ready to be miserable about it.
Anyone that knows me away from this knows I'm one of the most positive people you could ever find. Like literally. But when it comes down to this, I get very serious. And like I said, I think we're going to get a draw. I'm like what happened, Brian, when you and me, when I was saying we're going to get a draw against Brentford, and I was calling it for weeks and weeks and weeks. No, not you, but everyone. No, it's Brentford. We're going to do that. They're on their holidays. And then it happens, and we've just got to be. We as much as I'm being positive and thinking we'll get a draw, and like I said, I think we're going to get top 4. People have got to think, right? If this doesn't happen, what if? We're all talking about, oh, we can't wait to take the piss out of Arsenal. We can't wait to do this, chap. What if it doesn't?
Yeah, but I mean that's it's 50-50, right? It's a fucking game. You're playing football. That's the nature of it, and how we approach it. I haven't had a chance to ask Ads. He's been a bit quiet there, managing the comments. Ads, your thoughts on the top 4, buddy? Are you feeling positive, negative, somewhere in the between? It's kind of hard to tell at this point.
My opinion on it can be summed up by just saying a few words: same shit, different season. I can only believe that we have done a Spursy and we have allowed Arsenal to basically swap momentum, as Danny was rightfully saying earlier. Like we handed them our momentum and they said, right, let's do a swap deal. And honestly, what the fuck do I compare this to? Swapping a Lamborghini for a freaking I don't know, fucking secondhand Fiat or something, whatever the fuck. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood with tonight, but like surely you can understand what I'm saying. Like
yeah, for sure.
We do this all the time when we're in the race to the top 4. We do it the majority of the time. I mean, do it all the time, and we've been just doing it, especially the last few seasons where we haven't even been really in the race for top 4, but we've been in the race for like Europa League, and we ended up qualifying for the Conference League and scraping into that. So like. Honestly, like we were saying earlier, we're so lucky that we're in this position, and the fact that we're in this position is because of the manager, mainly because of the manager. I know, like,
shouldn't that come into play in this case as well? Who has the better chance from a management perspective to get it to top 4? Like we obviously have the better manager with more experience. Shouldn't we be relying? Shouldn't Conte give us an extra 2 points? Just in the fact that he's experienced and obviously a million times better of a manager than Arteta.
I know he should. Well, like, the fact is fact. And the fact is Conte is a better manager than Arteta. Arsenal fans can swing it as much as they want on, but like they're going to swing it off a freaking cliff. Conte is the better manager, but on the actual day, what club will have the better mentality and what club will turn up? Conte can get these players as riled up and as pumped for this as he can. And if they go onto the pitch and they don't perform, they are not going to get a result. And if they don't go in there with the mentality that this is our biggest game of the season, then regardless of where we are in the table, because it's the North London derby, then like, I mean, basically we're kind of screwed. Then like I don't want a repeat of well, I mean, let's be honest, we're not going to have a repeat of what happened in the first North London derby this year. I know I'm not counting the pre-season one, so we have to turn up, we have to play. And I don't want Arsenal to win it. And you know what? This is probably going to be the biggest North London derby in a while, whether it decides top 4 or not. Whether it decides top 4 or not, biggest derby.
First one in the stadium with fans as well. So I think would be interesting to see how the fans react.
Fans have been in there. But
yeah, but like full stadium. I think we had 5,000 fans, which is not the same thing. So first time we've had full complement of fans there. Ben, your thoughts? Does Arteta give us that extra edge? Do you think he's gonna be able to coach us to getting top 4 over and above Arteta with the games we have left?
It's very difficult to say, really. Arteta's doing well with this young team. It's partly the reason why he's got this team, because that's why he hasn't got any superstars in the team. Because
It's worked for him. It's Pocheska almost, isn't it?
It's that mentality. As soon as a player speaks out against him, he shoots them, which is it's sort of a good mentality to have. So he's put into I'm the boss. If you say no to me, you're out the door, which is good mentality to have at the end of the day. But we haven't got the squad quality. We haven't got it. They've got a decent squad. People like as much as we want to put down the filth, they are a good team. They've got some really good players in there, and they're playing really well as a team. Ramsdale's quality. Saka's playing quality at the moment. The players that are needing to step up are stepping up. And when push comes to shove, how many times have Tottenham players this season stepped up when they've needed to? Not many. And that is the problem. When it's time for them to step up, they fade away. And that's the mentality. So once they cross that white line, they need to
yeah, and there's only so much Conte can do, right? In that scenario. Like he does all exactly. He's trying to with his hands, but yeah, 100%. Okay, well, I think we've spoken enough about things to come. Danny, I want you to hop in on there, and we got some starred comments, some questions we want to get to from some of the folks in the comment section. Oh, you're muted again, brother. Rookie mistake here. It's been a while from Danny. Come on,
it's been a while. It's the head. It's not functioning at 100% capacity. It's just, it is what it is tonight. But there was one of the comments, right? So I know Lappers has been asking a few questions, and Danny asked one as well. He said a swap deal for Bergwijn and Anthony. Look, if it was me, I would love this player, man. Anthony he's going to be a potential world-class player. He's phenomenal. Like, the reason why Ajax haven't been doing as well as they have been in the league, even though they're still at the top of the league just at the moment, is because he's been out of their team and they just lack that. He's like their magician kind of thing. Is
he a 10? Is he play? I don't know a lot about him. He
can play as a striker, but he plays predominantly on the wing, on the right wing.
Okay,
he's a right winger, but he's a bit like Rafinha. He's a similar player to Rafinha. I mean, personally, I'd have Rafinha over Anthony, just because he's Premier League proven. And Anthony's a little bit younger. He's still really young. He's still got a lot of maturing to do. But look, I don't think it will happen. But if it did, I would say that I'll be all for it, especially over Lucas Moura. He's a far better player than Lucas Moura. His quality. If you guys don't watch Anthony on a weekly basis before he got injured, he is a phenomenal player, honestly. And there was another one. Go on, Ben.
Player that we should have from that Ajax team is someone that Cooper said we should have, and that's Mr. Divine Wrench. That is the player this Tottenham team needs.
Where's he play? Right wing back?
Yeah. Right wing back. But what he can do, he can play any position on the football pitch. Centre back, right wing back, centre midfield, striker, goalkeeper, cook, kit man.
coffee guy.
Canteen lady.
Any position on the park. Both-footed, quick, tall, loves a tackle. This kid's going to be world class, and that's the kid we should have. And this team.
He's a great player. Wrench is still he's very raw though. He's still very raw. So like he doesn't play all the games. He mainly comes on from the bench. He's not their starting right back, because their starting right back is Mazraoui. Is usually him. But they also play at some other players as well. They played a new kid actually. The last game they played on Saturday. We were watching. It was another young kid who I actually hadn't seen before, and neither had Sana. So it shows that I'm not sure if he's injured or not. I don't think he is, but he's not. I don't think he's ready to be a Premier League footballer, and I think he would need a few more years to develop, playing consistently in that position. So I know that he would be a good player to have, but I don't think he's what we need right now.
Too young? How old is he? What's his?
He's 19.
So
he's only 19 recently as well. Not too long ago.
Well, Daddy, you say that
and have him as the backup.
No, there's a player.
I would have him as a backup. No, go on, Brian.
No, I was about to say Bobby Case brought up one that I've been banging on about for ages, and Brian Ireland knows just how much I love him. Is Buchanan.
Yeah, Buchanan's good. So is
he is prime for Tottenham Hotspur. Pace, power. Anyone check him out. I mean, I know his YouTube videos. Everyone can look good. But this kid, even I rate him higher than David. I think Buchanan at Tottenham would be an instant superstar.
I think
He's
David
not
would be a great second striker too. David is a very good striker. Scores a lot of goals.
Talk about Jonathan David. He's Jonathan David is the one that I've been bragging on about for months and months and months and months. But he'll cost around 50 million. Now, if we're going to spend 50 million on a striker, it'd have to be him over Martinez 1,000,000%. Because he's a rapid player of both feet. He's good on both feet. He's young. He's physically built as well. He's strong on the ball. He's got everything you want in a striker. He's brilliant, and he can play on the wing as well. He can play on the wing. So, if it was me, Jonathan David is the one I would love to see in a Tottenham shirt. But I honestly think that Arsenal are going to sign him. I've got a funny feeling they're going to go for him.
Oh God!
Honestly, I've got that feeling Arsenal are going to sign him. He's that.
If that's the case, you can fuck off.
He's that type of player that you can see Arsenal signing. Like, he's got everything you'd see in a Tottenham or an Arsenal player, and you could just see him. He's got he reminds me. I'm not saying he's like Thierry Henry, but he's got those vibes. He's got those kind of vibes.
Well, they're not bad vibes to have.
No,
they're not bad vibes to have. And I have to say, very good, Ireland. If we sign a Canadian, like Ben will know, when I lived in Israel, as soon as an Israeli player played for a Premier League team, every single game is on national TV. Would that happen if we signed a Canadian in the Premier League?
No, unfortunately not. No.
Speaking of which, Manor Solomon should be signing for Tottenham. I want that kid. That kid is quality. I'm biased because I want another Jewish boy at Tottenham, and there is a severe lack of Jewish boys at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So get him in. But he's a quality player as well. And I don't know if there's still rules about getting players from Shakhtar, but I'd love.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot harder to get players now because of how they're registered and the money and all that kind of stuff. I was reading something on it, but yeah, it's probably not going to be likely.
Well, I want to say as well on Chelsea, just congratulations to Abramovich winning the money back, because you could be sending Chelsea out of business. So whatever you feel about him, apparently now he is calling in the 1.5 billion debt or 1.6
changed
billion.
his mind. Yeah,
of course he is. Good money.
Good. And if this
it's going to be broke without it, but basically,
they've got to the end of the month. Their license is till the end of the month, and if this ain't towards the end of the month, bye Chelsea. Bye.
They're gonna find a way to weasel out of it.
They'll find a way. They're too big of a club to do it. It's not going to happen. But look, we
can all hope.
Yeah, we can all hope, of course. Be honest, there's too much money involved in what Chelsea earn and their brand as a brand. It's not going to happen. Someone will buy them eventually. They'll sort out a deal. But just look, there's another player here. Now, what Danny was saying about Timber, right? Timber he's going to be. I've been bragging about Timber for so long. He is going to be one of the best centre backs in the world within the next 5 years, right? 5 to 7 years, because he's young as well. He's like 19. He is going to be a top player, but unfortunately, it looks like he's one of Ten Hag's first signings he wants to bring to United. And I don't blame him, because if Ten Hag gets a hold of him, right, Man United fans, they think they will know him. Unless they watch Ajax, you will not understand how good this kid is.
That Ten Hag to United thing has screwed any player we'd ever want from Ajax for a period of time. Essentially, they're all going to United if he wants.
Yeah. Also, he's going to resurrect Donny van der Beek's career. He's going to really.
He said that too. He's like he's bringing him back, and
you wait and see. You'll see some shocks at United happening. But what he'll do is he'll bring a young, vibrant team who want to play for the badge. That's what he'll do. It'll be like a reminiscence of what Poch did. He'll bring in players who really want to play for United, and they'll play this really high octane attacking football. And players like Timber and players like that, he would be brilliant in a Man United. If you put him next to like a Varane or someone like that, you have a experienced head and someone who's Timber, who's athletic. He's very athletic. He's quick. He's quite strong. He's not the best in the air, but he's a good defender, and he can learn a lot. And Timber. That's a good question. He doesn't actually. He's actually got good balance. He's a good young kid. Like, it's a shame. It's a shame that he'll probably end up at United. I can see this one happening. To United,
the good thing is Paul Mitchell's apparently turned United down.
Oh, has he?
Apparently so. Apparently. So hasn't been confirmed on Sky anything, but I've seen it floating about from a few places. And I honestly, I am keeping my fingers and toes crossed because I do not want to see Paul Mitchell working with Eric Ten Hag. I do not.
I mean, that's a pretty good combination of.
There's also something I wanted to bring up about the Bergwijn comments and what he basically said. So
you said.
So I'm gonna see if I can post it. Hold
okay,
on.
so while you're looking for that, let's quickly while you're looking.
I've got it.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it. I've just posted it, so I'll bring it up. Right. So essentially, this is what the translation he said. This is after the Leicester game, right? When Nos were interviewing him. So he basically said this. He said they were asking him about like his Tottenham and stuff like that. He said it's a difficult story for me. He sighed after 8 minutes against Leicester last weekend, and he said I don't think a starting place is in it for me here. But unfortunately, and then when they asked him another question where they said, do you hope that there was going to be a chance basically after the 2 goals that he scored in January? And he said, unfortunately, that didn't happen. So the way he was speaking to that interviewer, it was essentially saying that he doesn't believe that he's gonna be in a starting place. And what people who are closer to the Dutch papers in the Netherlands are saying is that he really wants to go back to Netherlands because he doesn't believe he's going to play here. He wants first team football. And obviously the main reason for that is because of the World Cup year. Even though the Netherlands manager trusts him and will probably still pick him and play him,
he still wants to have form, right?
He still wants to have form, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why. So unless say they sell Lucas Moura and they have a conversation in the summer, if we get Champions League football and we say, look, we want to use you as a winger, we're going to use you more, all this kind of stuff, it might change his mind. But at this current moment, it looks like he will go. If they can, and it looks like Ajax actually want to rekindle that interest that they had in January for him. So it's a big possibility he's going to leave, unfortunately, which is a shame because I didn't really want him to leave. I really wanted him to stay.
I just wanted him to get a proper chance. It just feels like he hasn't ever been given that chance. And when he has been given like a minor chance, he's delivered. So like,
and then, do you know what's happened, Brian, as well? It's like, you're right. He's delivered, right? And what happens is Bergwijn, he gets a run of games. He starts playing quite well, starts showing us things that he could be this player. And then he gets injured. And then it's like he's out for like a month or something like that. And then it takes him time to try and get back into it. Then he only comes on as sub appearances and he never gets given that chance to start again. And it's just so...
It's a bit like Sessegnon as well. We've got a few players like that. Lamella was like that for a long time.
Yeah.
Lamella,
yeah. It's frustrating for him, but I think he can get over the injuries better than the other two we're talking about. But I just it's a shame that he's been picked over like Lucas Moura to start and stuff. And it is what it is. But it'd be sad to see him go. As long as if he goes, as long as they bring in a player who's better quality than him on that, who can actually play as a right winger, who Conte trusts as a right winger, I'm all for it. But we have to wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting summer. 4 games left to play, and we're gonna get into the meat of that nuttiness that is the summer transfer window, and see what actually Spurs get to. Was there any more saved comments or questions? And then I want to get to we got to get to our final segment we do with Ben.
Unless anyone else wanted to mention.
I think this is a comment here that was one of the questions that was starred that I think is an interesting one, and we'll quickly go around the horn here. This makes me really nervous, right? And I could see by everybody else's reaction that's Emerson up against Diaz. Thanks for the question, Patrick. I'm terrified of this because Diaz came on today in the Champions League and just changed the game completely, ripped him up on that side. And similarly, the right back who was playing for Villarreal, kind of similar like stature and style, and not he can defend reasonably well, but doesn't have a ton of pace. I think he's going to get skinned. I think I'm very worried about this. Brian, I'll start with you, buddy. What are your thoughts on Emerson? Yes,
there's 3 things I look at this. First of all, Diaz absolutely terrifies the crap out of me against Emerson. He's sensational. He is unbelievable. Second, if it's not him, it's going to be Sadio Mane, which again terrifies the crap. Basically, whoever goes there scares the crap out of me. But the one thing that scares me the most about this whole thing is, as we know, Romero goes and covers a lot of the right back's work. If he goes and makes a rush or gets 2 yellows or even a red because he's having to cover, that could be him out for the season, especially the NLD. If it's 2 red or 2 yellows, if it's a red,
Brian,
for the whole season.
Gone all the way to 2 yellow cards, and he's getting sent off and missing.
But that's the thing. You've got to look. Everyone says that Emerson gets a free pass a lot because I've been there because Romero goes there and covers a hell of a lot of the work.
It's fair. It's just like
with Liverpool's pace, which is electric. Yeah. Whoever plays there, but if it's Diaz, even worse. He mistimes a tackle, and he can be rash, as we know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They could be there just going target Romero. Romero has to be so disciplined in this game. I hate saying this because if he's out for either the filth or if he got a red card, all three, then we're fucked. We're fucked. Romero, Emerson's going to start. We know it. We know he's going to start.
There's no other option there. Like, and if you this is not a game you're going to just chuck in somebody to see how they're going to play. So you got to go with who's been playing, and it's been Emerson. So unfortunate situation. There, Ben, your thoughts on Emerson up against Diaz, or even Mane, as Brian said, the potential for the pain we might feel.
I don't know. Jesus Christ!
Oh, thanks, Adrian, for
Get
that.
It off. Thanks, Adrian.
Dear. Could you imagine?
Yeah. I don't know how many of you guys have seen the animated film Chicken Run, but it's like the thing.
Yes, classic.
There and there. And in the case of a crash, put your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye. That is
classic line.
Nutshell.
Basically covers it, doesn't it?
It's just that he might even have an unbelievable performance, but I just don't see it. It's he was actually all right against Manchester City, but this is a different kettle of fish. That they are so quick, they will target him. Every team that plays against us targets him. Imagine a team that actually is unbelievable will target him as well. It's gonna be very worrying. I hope he has the game of his life because it'd be great for him, but it's just like it's very worrying. You might even say put someone that's quicker because like
I put Sessegnon over there and put Reguilon if he's fit on the left. I mean, for me that manages it a little bit.
Been playing well as left wing back, and he played well against Liverpool in the left wing back slot when we played them in wherever it was. I would even I'd possibly play Sanchez at right wing back just for the pace. That's how bad Emerson is.
Yeah, it's fair, but
just for his pace. We're
no, definitely not Sanchez. I can't agree with that.
Over Emerson, Danny. Over Emerson.
I just think Sanchez. Yeah, go ahead, Danny's going to say what I was going to say, so I'll let you say it.
No, go on.
I was just going to say positionally, he's useless, and I think he'll get himself caught too many times, especially in a wing back role, and he offers nothing going forward if we need it.
That's what Emerson does anyway, so it's no different.
I think
Emerson is. I think in a right wing back position, I think Emerson will do a better job than Sanchez would. It's like when
better job defensively in particular. I think
Emerson.
Look, you got to remember. But what Emerson does is he's good in the air, and that's the one thing we lack in our defense. Right, it's the only thing he's actually good at. Like if you actually look at the last game we played, his best moments defensively was when he was clearing balls with his head when he was headering the ball away. Right, that's the only thing he's probably decent at because he's got a good jump on him and he can head a ball out. But other than that, he is useless. We know this. But look, I would rather Emerson than Sanchez, and I know Emerson's probably going to get destroyed. But the good thing is we've got Cuti Romero, mate. We've got Cuti Romero. Will fucking.
He's going to take care of business.
He's gonna be the guy who's gonna be all over that pitch, and if he's on fire on that game, I've got no problem. Don't worry.
I love it, Danny.
Don't worry. I always worry, Danny, because we've got Emerson right back.
But Cuti Romero plays like he play. If you watch how he plays, he covers that right side of that pitch, right, as if he's a right back, a right wing back,
does everything,
right centre back. He's everywhere. He's a centre back. He's everywhere. He just covers that whole defense. And if you look at how he plays, majority of the time it's like he is playing like a right back. That's the way he kind of plays. So if him and Kulusevski are tracking back in that game, right, to help Cuti Romero out, right, I think it'll be better than what we would have, but look, it's all about how Cuti does and how Kulusevski does. That's my opinion. I think Emerson. Look, we have to be honest. Are you actually going to sit here and say that Conte is going to go and play Davinson Sanchez in a role he's never played before against the fucking best
that's
team
what
in
I
the
mean.
world?
Like,
That's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I'm just saying for his pace, because I don't think Emerson is keeping
I
up
think
with
you're
him.
better off putting Sessegnon on the right and Reguilon on the left for
That's
pace.
if Reguilon's fit.
Yeah,
If
great
Reguilon's
point.
fit, I said
If
I
Reguilon's
caveated it with
fit,
that. I did caveat with that if Reguilon's fit. If not, then yeah, I think we're going to see
Conte doesn't like
Royal.
Reguilon. He doesn't trust him.
He
At
doesn't
the
trust
moment
him,
in
yeah,
time,
he
I don't
doesn't.
trust him either. He doesn't trust him.
I don't
Yeah.
either.
Great
I want
minds think
Reguilon
alike,
gone.
Ben.
Here's a good question from Adrian. This will be the last question, guys, and then we're going to get to the final segment and call it. But do you guys think Conte will go with a 3-man midfield like the home game? It's a good question. I'll answer first quickly. No, because he hasn't done it since. So
The last time we played Liverpool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the last time he did it. Now, if Skip was fit, and I maybe could see him doing it if he trusted the third midfielder. But right now we don't have a third midfielder he would trust in this type of situation to play that. So and they haven't trained for it either. So I'd say no. But Ben, what are your thoughts?
We would play a 3-man midfield if we had Oliver Skip in midfield, but Harry Winks cannot come into that midfield. He is beyond a
liability.
It's like playing with 10 men. And people are going to be, Ben, you're being overly negative towards Harry. I'm not. I've watched this man for the last, how long has he played for Tottenham now? 10 years? I used to have hair before Harry Winks came into the team. That's how
he's made you lose it, hasn't it, Ben? Yeah. That's why you got a hat on now.
It's a liability. So at this moment in time, we're going to be playing the 3-4-3. And hopefully it works, but we just don't have the players to play that system. If Skip was there, absolutely play it all day long. Just play 3 warriors in midfield and just say, all right, let's kick them off the pitch. And then we might be able to get something out of it. But we're gonna have to ride it even with the 3-4-3. And hopefully the god that is Romero turns up, the Greek god himself. And hopefully we can get something. Yeah,
for sure. Bri, what are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, you've both said what I was going to say with Ollie Skip. I just want to piggyback on what Ben was saying about Harry Winks. Straight after the game, I said, listen, enough is enough now. If you're bringing on a midfielder at the end of the game, bring on Harvey White. Harry Winks, I wish you well wherever you go, but you just can't come on and give performances like this for 10 minutes and just show no pain or anything after conceding a goal rather than going, oh, like that. Enough. You're stopping Harvey White's progression. You're stopping other people's progressions. As soon as you come on, the whole stadium's like, oh. Whereas if Harvey White comes on, there'll be excitement. Enough of Harry Winks. Enough. He's got. Do you know what? Someone responded to my tweet. I think it was Kieran from Spurs after start that said Harry Winks is the only footballer whose value goes down every time he plays up on the pitch. Stop doing it.
Fuck's sake.
Stop. Because it's true. It's what you're doing. You're trying to put him in the shop window, but it's like you're making it worse.
Are we talking about Winks again? How do we get back onto Winks?
No, because the
can't resist, Brian.
Play 3 in midfield, and the only available midfielders to do it is this idiot. And like I said, go to Southampton, go to Watford, go to Villa, go wherever the hell you want. Just you cannot.
Yeah, go to the Championship.
Really, even at Anfield, if it comes to going 3 in midfield, I want Harvey White on.
Yeah.
Because at least like when Tanganga came on against Liverpool, when King came on against Liverpool, like Winks did against West Ham on his debut, they add something that no one knows. They give something to the team. Harry Winks will just drive his value down even more. Just go away. Go away. Just sit down. Go away. Have a nice little nap. Carry on practicing kicking tea bags into a mug. That's what you're good at. And just do not come on the pitch again. Do not come on the pitch again.
It's either something really stupid or something ridiculously, stupidly emotional. He's a disgrace to the number he wears on his back.
That's exactly where I was going.
The greatest players in some of the history of the football club have worn that number 8 shirt, and they've put everything into it. Players from Steve Perryman, Paul Gascoigne, the man above me's hero. These players exemplified what is excellent about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
You're forgetting someone else who wore the number 8.
Every time that man puts on that number 8 shirt, he devalues that magical number. There are 4 numbers, really, that are magical in the history of this football club. The number 1 shirt for Pat Jennings, the number 10 shirt that God knows how many players have worn that number 10
Jermaine
shirt.
Defoe.
Jermaine, the number
Look,
6
Jermaine Defoe did wear 10.
Dave Mackay.
Didn't
No.
And
Number 8, Jimmy Greaves wore as well as
number
as 10. He started
Greaves.
off at 8. So Jimmy Greaves, Gaza, Winks. Yeah.
He grades and disgraced that.
Who wears it next year, guys? That's the question. Who gets to?
James Ward-Prowse.
I'd leave it empty.
Yeah, James Ward-Prowse.
Ward-Prowse and 8. That'd be nice. I'd be happy with that. Anything to add about the situation with the shape? 3 in the midfield, or we'd be sticking with 2?
We're sticking with 2. Like, Skip being injured has destroyed any possibility of us playing 3 in the middle again. It's interesting. Maybe Conte actually wanted to do that, but Skip being injured like threw that out the window.
Yeah,
so
no strength and depth, right? We don't have the players. Don't have the players for it. Danny, anything to add? And
look, if it was me, I would go with 3 in the midfield because I think that's where most games are won, in the midfield, and I just don't believe that Kulusevski, Bentancur, Højbjerg are going to be good enough for a midfield 3 if Liverpool play their midfield 3. In my honest opinion, they're just going to outnumber us, and it showed it again in the first half against Leicester. It took Kulusevski coming on to show a masterclass in football intelligence, right? To kind of do what he did and change the way we played. And against Liverpool, if he starts and he doesn't play well, who are we going to bring off the bench to impact the game? We're fucked, right? We're not going to bring off Kulusevski. We're not going to bring on Kulusevski again, are we? Take him off and bring him on again just so we can have a sub, right? An actual decent sub. So if it was me, I would probably put 3 in the midfield, right? And
with Winks, though? Who's in that midfield?
No, not Winks.
You put Decky in the midfield as in the top of it or something?
I would play Decky at the top of the midfield as a midfield 3,
I can see that.
Right? And because he will give you the fight, the passion, the desire, and he will track back as well, right? But then again, what that happens is when you do use that midfield 3, you have to rely on those midfield 3 to be creative, or you have to rely on the wing backs to also do a job. Can those wing backs we have right now going to do a job? If it was Doherty, I would say, yeah, I would trust him a lot more. But Conte's not going to change that system because it's what he trusts. He's already said it himself. Yeah. He ain't going to change it unless he gets an injury. If he gets an injury, he's forced to change it. He'll have to think of something. He literally said those words himself. He literally said, I'm not going to change it this late in the season, right? When that's what we're used to. That's what we've been playing for months and months, right? It's just not going to happen. So unless you get a big injury, he ain't changing it. It's a shame because that's what worries me the most is the right-hand side. Obviously, Emerson worries me every time he plays fucking football because he's not a footballer, right? Or it's the midfield because when we look what happened against Brighton, right? Brighton
get overrun.
Brighton showed how a masterclass in how to completely stop our midfielders playing football, right? Because what they did was Harry Kane, when he was dropping in, they had they played like a diamond. So they played like a 1-2 and then a 1 behind, right? They played like a 4 in midfield kind of shape, right? But what they did was every time we had the ball, they had 2 of their players running towards where the ball was. So they completely stopped everything that we wanted to do.
Yeah, we're overrun.
So
right?
We were overrun. But could you imagine a team like Liverpool doing that to you and then hurting you? That's the difference.
Well, the thing is, Danny, too, is Conte knows this because he already tried to deal with it the last game, and it worked. So it's got to be a bit of a struggle for him. The position he's in is I can't do the thing I know works, right? Because it did work. You know, we played the 3 in the midfield and managed to get a draw out of it. And played quite well
the whole season.
It was. I agree. And I think for weeks afterwards, all of us were calling for him to do it again, but we lost Skip and we didn't have the depth to do it. So it's an unfortunate situation. But I think
that's been the biggest loss of our season was losing Skip.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I think Doherty was a big one as well because of his form he came into.
I think so, but I think losing Skip has been the biggest loss.
Just so many limitations when you lose a midfielder.
Yeah, but because if you have Skip in certain games, I'm sure he would have played a midfield 3, and I'm sure we would have got better results against
even to just change it in mid-game when we're like, okay, we're getting overrun. Let's pop somebody else in there. All right, well, we've come to the end of the show, guys. We're going to do one last segment here because this is what we do when we have a special guest on our Tuesday program. Ben, this is for you, buddy. Who are you, man? So, just want to hear a little bit about the coffee company. What you're doing with your
Coffee
days?
King,
the Coffee King. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your shop and then your Spurs experience as well would be great to hear about.
So the coffee company it's a magical thing that happened due to lockdown and me not being able to go out of the house due to the medication I'm on with my history of illness and all that nonsense. But it's something I always wanted to do. For many, many years, the specialty coffee community has looked down on the normal people, and they still do for the most part. When for anyone like guys like you or me, well, not me because I'm a barista for 10 years now. It's crazy that, but they look down on the normal people asking questions about coffee, and that's something I wanted to change. I want every single person in the world to be able to drink a high quality specialty coffee. It's the drink of the people. It is the drink of the people. Every single person drinks a cup of coffee in the morning, unless they're a tea drinker. But the vast majority of people in the world drink a cup of coffee in the morning. And the fact that we're limiting the vast majority of people to just rubbish coffee is unacceptable when there is so much specialty coffee, like especially in London, Toronto, Milan now even. Every single major city has a specialty coffee community, and we need to branch out and bring that coffee to the normal people. It's one of the reasons it's so great to be part of the Spurs community is I'm getting normal people to drink proper coffee, and they're like, shit,
this is good.
This is good. Yeah. And I can't believe I've not had something like this before. So my idea is to make coffee accessible to people. So I don't charge ridiculous prices for my coffee. Yes, I'm still buying the highest of quality coffee from whether it's Falcon or Nordic Approach or any of the coffee suppliers I buy from, the highest quality. But I serve it at a decent price so the normal person can drink it. And part of the thing I've been doing with my streams and all that is talking about it, because the vast majority of people have no clue about coffee. And that's what I'm going to teach them. And obviously, this is the stepping stone of me getting the confidence, because I do suffer from confidence issues, just blah, 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 blah. But I want to compete. With me sitting here and slagging off Tottenham the entire time, saying they don't turn up, I've got to look at myself. I've been a barista for 10 years and never competed before. So I'm gonna do.
You got to turn up. You got to turn up yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm going to use this platform that I'm building and building a lovely community around me, which you guys are all part of. All of you are massive supporters of the coffee company, and the people in the chat, people from Anthony Gray to Carl Simpson, Welshie, Ellie, all the people in the chat that support the coffee company. And we're gonna shoot for the stars. We're gonna show that a little coffee company can go up against the gentleman's baristas, the Starbucks, the Costas, even some of the specialty coffee guys, which I want to collaborate with. One of the big problems of the coffee community is we all hate each other. If you look at the brewing community, for example, how collaborative they are, how lovely they are to each other. Look at coffee; they all hate each other. They hate each other.
So you got to learn something from our community, right? Most of us.
You know what? I'm just going to come in here because Ben.
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Me and Danny have had the privilege of being to Ben's coffee shop.
But quickly, before you say, where is the coffee shop in London? Like, if people are going to go there, just to caveat your.
The border of East London and Essex, which is Woodford. It's on the Central Line. It's 8 the Broadway. You can find. You put the website in the description very graciously.
Yep.
So you can find all the information on there. So it's 8 the Broadway, Woodford, or Benny would approach. Is either those. Is that like Broadway? Find us there. You can have a chat with us. It's just me in my shop. There's only one person working there. Come and have a chat with me, and that's it. It's the only coffee business where one guy is the show. There's not 100 million people. I'm the roaster. I am the barista. I clean everything. I clean the bathroom. I clean everything. Is not in the same time, obviously.
With gloves on, right?
I start operating. Let's go.
This is the thing. Me and Danny have had the privilege of being there a couple of times. Danny a couple of more, obviously, because of location. It's a bit of a bitch for me to get to right now, but I do enjoy my coffee. I'm more of a tea drinker at home, but I do love a coffee, especially living in Canada. You live on the stuff here. And True. All I will say is it is without doubt the greatest coffee I've ever had in my life. Danny will remember the first time we went, we had the Christmas one, which was lovely. But then Ben gave me a double espresso.
Still the best one.
Danny gave me. I want to try the blueberry one that you were doing when I heard you on the coffee shop. and the Nutella one. But honestly, the double espresso I had, it's lucky I could have flown home to Toronto I was absolutely, and Danny will tell you because I was in the car home with him as well. I have never been so hyper off a coffee in my entire. It is the strongest, greatest coffee. I was flying.
It's like
flying.
Brian's drug, the double
Oh my
espresso shop from
gosh.
Ben's coffee shop.
It was
Amazing.
incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
honestly, it's the
go ahead,
best. And also, I want to add to that as well because Ben has taught me so much about coffee that I never had any idea. And the stuff that he's taught me is unbelievable. It makes you appreciate coffee a lot more as well. And like what it makes you appreciate is how good coffee can be if you actually like care about the coffee you drink and care about how you make it and stuff like that. It's a huge difference. Like when you buy a Starbucks coffee is absolute dog
garbage.
shit. Like,
yeah,
it's rubbish. It's so bad, and it's just mass produced. And all it is a name, and that's what's sad about it is the fact that the people actually like buy it. They make hundreds and hundreds of millions a year, billions even on shit coffee. So we want to try and help Ben to get to where he wants to get to because he needs. Honestly, this coffee is unbelievable. It truly is amazing.
It sounds great. The reason I asked about the location and I wanted to highlight that is it part of going to a Spurs game? Like you can go get the coffee on your way. Is it how close are we to the stadium in that case? Is it?
Isn't because I'm going to the game myself because I've got other.
Yeah, I know. So they come after maybe post game coffee or something.
Organize a thing. I was speaking with Reginald, and he says we need to make this more of a community thing more often. So obviously we're going to try and do what we did before a couple of weeks ago when we had Superman himself, Mr. Bob Spur, we had Nick, we had Shawnee, we had Ellie with her.
Is this on your channel you're talking about, Ben?
Yes, we had that, and we had everyone there. So we want to build a Spurs community around my coffee shop as well. So we might do that once in a while. I say, come down and meet the people you see on the streams more often, whether it's a Danny Kyriacou. Obviously, Nick's going to be very happy to smell his cologne. And it's brilliant. You can meet, whether we do it before games more often, I'd love to, because, of course, I make a couple of quid off of it. But obviously, I like to meet everyone. I like to be friends with everyone. And that's what I
think that's a great way to start your day out, your football day out. Get a nice cup of coffee before you have any saucy beer or cider when you get to the ground, and you're nice and awake and ready to roll. I can't wait, man. When I get to London, I'm
we've got to do it.
Yeah,
Ben, we're gonna have to do one when I'm back next month.
Oh yeah, we're doing it.
We're gonna definitely do it.
You know what we should do is what we'll do is with this channel we'll have you back on again, Ben, from your shop with Brian, Danny there in the shop, and we'll do a special on it because it's been great chatting with you, man. It's a lot of fun. Go ahead, Danny.
But we need to hear Ben's Tottenham story as well.
That's the next thing before we sign up. So tell us about the history of being a Spurs fan for you.
It's the Kauffman family's tradition now. Every single Kauffman supports Tottenham, apart from that one guy that supports Arsenal, but he married into the family, so he's not really a Kauffman.
Well said.
It's a religious and spiritual tradition. Every single Kauffman, of course, being a Jewish guy, it was your escape. You went to shul on a Saturday and you immediately went to Tottenham, whether it was my mum and dad getting on the green bus from Clayhall Broadway, getting on the green bus to Tottenham High Road to evade their parents that were really annoyed because they were getting on instead of going home for their Shabbos lunch, they were going to watch Tottenham. But Tottenham is steeped in my family now. It's always been part of it. I want to raise my little nephew to love Tottenham. He's not quite there yet. He still doesn't understand many things, but especially not Tottenham. But Tottenham it's been part of my life. For many, many years, I suffered with ulcerative colitis. And what that does to your mental well-being, being not in control of your body. And the fact on a Saturday, I would watch Tottenham and I was completely away from all my problems. So Tottenham, as much as they really hurt me, they've partially saved my life because of what they give to me as an escape, as something to do, something I love, something I surround my life by. The friends I've made through Tottenham. It's an incredibly miserable but an incredibly lovely experience. Tottenham will always be in my family. The moment a Kauffman stops supporting Tottenham is the end of my family because all the Kauffmans support Tottenham. All the Kauffmans.
Love it.
Do or die Tottenham, and that's the way it always will be.
Fantastic. That's fantastic, mate. So
Ben, you need to answer that question.
Yeah, go ahead and answer. Yeah.
I got a question as well after.
Brian already has a coffee named after him. It says Levy Out on it.
He actually did do this to me.
Love to drink that.
Paddy, I can show you the picture, mate. I've got the picture of the Levy Out.
It's a Levy Out Chino.
Post it on our Twitter for sure. It'll be great.
And he also got a coffee with do on it as well.
I did actually. Yeah, that's true. I did. Yeah.
Nice.
So that would be the coffee names. The Levy Out Chino.
And the do.
Get the Daigle. I want the Daigle. Or
the Daigle. Yeah.
Or the Kyriacou.
The do espresso shot.
Nice. Did you have a question, Danny, as well, or?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ben actually. Ben, what have you got a cool like Tottenham related story like you've whether it's like a player you've met or something that's quite like cool that's happened to you in regards to relating Tottenham?
The problem is most of my stories are related to England because of my family's relations with Mr. Capello and a lot of the Juventus guys. I mean, one of the things that really kick-started my love of Tottenham was it was just a normal day in Chigwell, really. And my mum was just like, randomly, let's go to Little Italy, which was a crap place. If you know your Chigwell geography, there's a rubbish restaurant just by West Hatch High School. And we went there. It's a little Italian place, no bigger than the room I'm sitting in. And we went in there. My mum was just like, sometimes you see a couple of the Spurs players in here. And I was like, all right. I was going to Spurs games at that point in time, even though I was really young. I was probably too young to even watch the games. And suddenly in comes Mr. Stefan Freund. What a lovely man that is. And my mum went over to Stefan Freund and says, I was wearing a Spurs kit at the time because I did like my blue Holston Spurs kit, which I've still got. And we sat with Stefan Freund for an hour just talking Tottenham. As I always have massive love and respect for Mr. Stefan Freund. And that's what kick-started it, that a player like that is just approachable and nice and partly kick-started it. But definitely, it's probably one of the only cool stories. I've met a few Spurs players throughout the time, mostly slacking off Vlad Kyriacou because he didn't say hello to me.
Yeah, tell that story, mate, because that's
a good story. That's a good story. Let's hear that one.
Yeah, so we were in Morrison's car park in Loughton and getting out the car, and suddenly there was this Porsche. I think it was a Porsche at the time. I think it was either a Porsche or it was a bigger, sporty 4x4. And suddenly Vlad Kyriacou comes out, and I was getting out of the car at the time, and it was a left-hand drive car because he brought it over from wherever he was playing before. So I said, "Hi, Vlad." The guy just totally blanked me. I said, "Hello to hi, Vlad." Blanked me. So fuck Vlad Kyriacou.
Brilliant.
Crap footballer.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Nice one. Well, Ben, thanks for coming on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Looking forward to doing it again. Bry's got his fingers up. He knows the time has come. But yeah, cheers for coming on, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so good. And of course, this guy's good to have the four of us together again, lads. I'm going to be doing a preview with Azaz for the Liverpool game on Thursday, so look for that on our channels. And then we'll be back. I think around the Cockerels happening on Sunday, lads.
It should happen. Yeah. So I've just got to confirm the time, and it will most likely be us four again. It'll probably be at around 6 o'clock, but I'll confirm the time. I'll let you guys know.
Cool. Yeah. So look for that on the socials as well, folks. And we will be back soon. And thanks for everybody in the comments. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for all the support. We love you. And we'll see you.
Before we go, did you want to do a score prediction for Liverpool?
Yeah, sure. All right, let's do a score prediction around the horn. Now let's save Ben's
quick fire score prediction.
Saves Ben's for last. I'm going 2-2.
I'm going 1-1.
2-2.
Yeah, I'm going 2-2 as well. Actually, funny enough, I'm going 2-2 as well.
I'm going to go 2-2 as well. I just don't see us winning. I don't see it.
Yeah. All right, Brian. On that note, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. And
yeah, I'm just going to tell you something. I've just got to tell you, Sean gave me an idea, and the more and more it's gaining more and more momentum that I'm going to do it when I'm back. I'm going to go to Jake Livermore's place. He's told me I should get like a 6-pack done on my tattoo done on my little putting my fingers there. So I'm actually really thinking about doing it because my fingers are getting a very good workout for one reason. And one reason. Don't. And as always.
What was that?
Out.
See it.
Tottenham. Tottenham On Tour. Tottenham On Tour.